Hello there and welcome to my channel. This is Kate again. It's Kate in the Nest. And I know you probably know that by now, but I sort of feel rude if I don't talk to you by name. So I want to say hi. I hope you are well and ready to do some stitching or making or listening or whatever, because this is this is a new one. And I am so excited. I think I've been talking to you quite a lot lately since I've been back from holidays, and it does feel like I've had this burst of inspiration. So I am going to start a totally new project. Oh, gee, I need some more, don't I? I've got the pouches in the nest going. I've got my big, huge in the garden, but they're launched and they're going along, and I have been reflecting on how, look, I'm getting overrun with flowers. So let's start with some inspiration first of all, and then I will tell you my thoughts. In December, when I was getting ready to go to the workshops at the Green Door Studios with Rachel and Sarah, there was a time where I went for coffee and I bumped into Rachel and Juju at our local store, Dirty Jane's. And at the very moment that we met, I had this book in my hand, which I couldn't then take out. So the book is called Biblioflora, A Celebration of Floral Beauty in Botanical Arts. I keep finding, I've got fleur underneath there, my days are being filled with looking at blossoms. Now, this is by Smith Street Books. It's sort of a compilation, so I can't actually find the author as such, but it just goes through different flowers and then combinations. But I just thought they're just so beautiful, and as I explore my stitchy journey and into more embroidery as well as applique and collage, this one was just another. Oh, I've got one of those in the garden. I've never had a passion fruit, but I've certainly got that flower at the moment. Aren't they beautiful? So that was just on my coffee table when I was having my cup of coffee. And similarly, so that's a book there if you're interested. I'm sure it's on Amazon. Similarly, yesterday or whenever I started my still life or my pouch, I can't remember. I dip into Fleur's book if not every day, so regularly that it's just a dream come true. And now, wasn't it? Oh, yes. I was looking. There's one in here. Sorry, I should have. So you're getting an inspiration for the book if you haven't got it. This. I've been working on my still life on the table, and I spoke to you about wanting to go back to some squares of patchwork, because I'm remembering I'm going to try and find my very first patchwork that I did as a teenager. But all of a sudden, this idea of layering and stitching and then embroidering is really speaking to me. So the other thing that is happening is that I'm missing. I'm trying to give you a hint. I'm missing doing lots of this on a bigger scale than what's currently on my pouches. So, sorry to tease. I'm going to make my second piece, and the first one was called The Betty. Now, I know a number of you followed that series. If you've been new since, it's the story of me wanting to do a piece that was the story of the bits and pieces that my mum has been gradually giving back to me. So we always grow and evolve. So I don't know where to start. Oh, I'll start here. I have been using this blanket for my still life. I wanted to film that again tonight because I'm loving it so much. I'm resisting so far. I had some more of this blanket left over, and I was making, well, it ended up making people laugh because I said that the blanket came with some chickens on it. Now, this doesn't sound like flowers, but you'll get it in a minute. And I did say that I was tempted to put the chickens under the table on Roxy's General Obstetric project, but we don't know any prompts yet, and I doubt they'll have chickens. But so for the moment, I've just got that there and thought, wouldn't that be a cute little piece of some sort? So that's that. I've got, this is all I've got left. So 2 big pieces which could easily make a pouch to keep beside me while I make this project. Now, the big reveal is, unlike I'm in the garden, I have named this project already, and it's going to be called The Blossom. So this blanket is brighter than the one I did the Betty on, which is probably quite appropriate in my work at the moment. I want to do my applique, and the ideas are there are 9 of these blocks, and I've also been watching Catherine from K3N, and she's making a coverlet of kindness, and I thought in a way that's what the Betty ended up being, not a quilt. Certainly my in the garden is massive. Like, it's not something that I can easily just put over me. So who knows where the blossom will end up. So what I did in Kate's non-measuring ways is to go 9 squares. So each block is 9 squares. However, I only was able to get to 8 without anything on them, because, and then the 9th I had to make a big decision. I hope this story is okay. Feel free to jump ahead. I had to make a big decision, but I've made it. I could turn this, actually, I hadn't even thought of that. I could turn it, could this be, no, I could have that on the back, but no. Instead of the chicken or the rooster being on the still life, this one is going to be amongst the blossoms. Okay, so there you are. Many of you wanted to see the chickens, and already I'm imagining that there might be, everything on here might be in the hands with some blossoms. Okay, so they're the blocks. As I said, I've gathered some pieces here that I'm using in other, I'll take the, he's not right, really the right colour, is he, for me, but we will get there. Move that aside. And this idea that I can have a small but big project. It's a Thursday here, and I sort of, Thursdays are my out and about days, and I'm often quite busy, but I love to come home and just stitch. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice, as well as the big still life, if I had something that, you know, I can just work on block by block and then put them together. So with that in mind, because you can see my influence, I've literally just gone into and started to grab bits and pieces. And like the tablescape, I'm thinking that I can use the colours of the squares underneath to give me a rough guide. So here's our violets, and you know, there's green and green, so that might be, we'll do some. I haven't done any yet. I've also brought down these fabrics that I bought before I went away. This is it Natalie? Let? You can see I'm still a newbie, but again, I think these colours might end up working well together. I've got the little pouch that I brought home from overseas again. Part of me thought, wouldn't it be quirky if I actually had a little container? So when I'm, you know, at night time, I've got some little bits in there. The other thing, and I haven't tried out the size, so I thought I'd bring it down to you. Oh, it's going to be too big. I haven't got much of this sort of work, but I thought, wouldn't it be, maybe it might work, to have a centre. And so the blossom will radiate outwards and I could have something embellished there. So that's my thinking. I showed you this the other day. That's Calf Facet. All of these influences. Now, do you do that? What I imagine many, that was from the beautiful Ellen with a happy mail. So look, it's coming. Thank you, Ellen. All sorts of ideas swirling around. I've got these little cross stitches because I've been tidying everything up with the stains all out over that. So again, if you don't like me doing it, please know that this is going to be loved and honoured. Okay, so all those sorts of things. Look at me, I've piled up the nest already on this side. Just before I came on, however, this is where I need your thoughts. I looked at this and I thought, oh, I do love these squares being down the bottom. But I went like this and I thought, that's not a square. And then I looked at this and I thought, actually, they're skinnier that way or larger, whichever way you look at it. So I did the test, which I now can't remember, like this, and thought, well, that would be a square, wouldn't it? So my decision is, do I work with squares or do I work with oblongs? The cons are that they'll be squared. No, the cons are, I can't remember which is it, pros and cons. Pros are that they will be square. Cons, I'll have to cut them all and I'll have this left over. But even as I say that, I'm thinking, well, that would be a nice little binding, and would it be more interesting if we had a smaller square going up to a bigger square? That would be more like Quirky Kate, wouldn't it? Okay, decision made. If you want to jump ahead, please do, but I am going to do a little bit of random. I hope I put my scissors in here. Oh my gosh, that's a miracle. Now, some people asked about the Betty, and at that stage no, let's just make sure. Yep. Does it work either way? Yep. Ooh, good. Number one block done. And we're going to go totally random. Some of them have got a selvage on it, so I'll truncate that at the bottom. Oh, that's not going to work. Who knows? But isn't it a beautiful blanket? I love that someone obviously, because it's really worn and thin, might become a pouch as well. Actually, I'd like to make, have I told you that? Of course I'd like to make a pouch to match it. Ah, dear. I just need to, again, do a shout out to all you lovely people. I love how Catherine always says, hello, lovely people, because you all are lovely. There was a comment on our Facebook group from the lovely Flora Kate, because we're all starting to show our pouches, and she made me giggle so much. She said, you know, there may be a time in the future where archaeologists will be wondering about the sudden influx of pouches in the 2020s. That's funny. And certainly I have been doing my part to make pouches. All right, so this one I thought would be a bottom. So I'd sort of like more, it could be the center. Who cares? Sorry, I do care. I just don't know how to do it. Oh, see, that's a bit of a difference. Now, there are many, many of you out there who may be thinking there are so many other ways to do it. This is Impatient Kate, and of course we won't see how they go together until a little further on. My favourite was actually putting, I think 4 together after starting them randomly. Okay, you got the idea? I'm sure you have. So now the consequence of that is that my centres are not going to be completely in the centre. Does that make sense? But that doesn't worry me at all. Shall we have a little experiment with this? This has all got, no, I'll save that for another day. It's got all the backing on it, but now I keep thinking about that. Now if I remember, I do really like these. They're not, oh, that one's better. I'm learning some things about easy material. To sew through, etc. These are new. I probably should wash them first. Ah, look at this. Look at that. See, the other thing about this, I think it's a good size project for fitting on my desk, my table. My heart wants to keep that because it's pink and beautiful, but I don't think I will. So let's just play with fabric and flowers. And build our first little garden together. And I'm thinking that this time I will keep a distinct edge. With the Betty I went all the way over, but I would like to preserve that and then put it together, probably more traditionally. So I won't mark it, but just in my eyes, well, with my eyes. Sewing basket, all of these. Now all of these won't go on the one piece, but let's just do some harvesting. It's a really glum day here today. We had incredible thunderstorms. I think when I was filming it started, it was still going 6 hours later. But it has given me a spur to actually get a little bit more work done. And I did have work this morning as well. So I rewarded myself with an early play. Then I'll go and get some groceries, etc. They won't go like that, but it's such a beautiful piece. It may belong in the garden, I think. Shall we experiment with this? Oh, yeah, Natalie let. Let's just pull the strip off. Oh. So pretty, and I think very useful because I've got the brightness, and then I've got the contrast. So let's just make some little squares or oblongs, patchwork style. Actually indulged by watching Rachel's stitchy video also today. She's been working on an open pouch. Oh, there's that word again. We all love. So that was just beautiful to see her okay. So in a way, this is starting to tell its own story. Snap flower to flower, leaf to leaf. I should have brought a whole lot more things over. Oh, that was I showed you that. Oh, hello, Terry. Terry sent me some Christmas little beautiful things. I've got this. Nope. Nope, not fully ready for that one yet. I would like some of that though. So the blossom is what we've got to keep in mind. And I will do this with all of my colours, I think. I need some big flowers, but not yet. All these are leaves, but it's a combination of everything. So what am I doing really? I'm harvesting at this point. Let's just do these little bits. So 2 of those. This is out of Gladian Flow's slow stitching pack. Now, there's a lot of white. Look at the stain on that. Actually, let's harvest that a little bit more. I didn't intend to get to this. And you're probably going to go, oh no, that's not going to work, Kate. And it may not. But I am going to use my in the garden rule that we are going to honour every bit that's been stitched. Too much purple, isn't it? At this point, that's just fine. This is a pretty special piece of cotton that I often use to wrap little people's presents in. There's fairies in there. So, oh, I don't want to cut a leg off. You see? Look at that for pretty. The neighbours must be coming home. Ah, look at that, the purple rose there is leading up to that. So it's like the blossoms are meeting together. I like that. I suppose I'm just looking down and thinking I'm a little bit less loud, aren't I? In this one, I've got pinks and purples and blues and beautiful greens. Oh dear, poor dog. You know, what about that? I was just saying that, and then I reached for... I have such a memory of finding this piece when we were away and harvesting it so that I could bring it home, and it truly is so special to have it and be using it on what's the other thing I think I would like to do is keep some so I'm just disappearing. Ooh. I suppose the other part of the inspiration has been, and I've shown you this many times, but I loved going flower to flower. This one will be very different in colours, but there's that same piece, and how different does it look in a different context. There we go, and again up there. Not yet. So I'm allowed to cover up leaves, and then I can embroider in there. Okay, one more pin. See, it's going to end up looking like my pouches. Oh, I need some of that. Okay, I need to do more prep in terms of my little squares before I get to the embroideries, but I hope that gives you an idea. So I'm introducing the blossom. I call my daughter Blossom. I call my sister Blossom. So Blossom is very close to me. And I love the Betty, and now we have the Blossom. If you want to join in, or you're doing something similar, or the pouch project, I am using Make with Kate, and it's lovely to go over and see what people are making alongside. So I'll stop fussing. That's the start, the inspiration, and you know, you don't have to have wouldn't it have been nice if I could have been professional and gone back to the book that I started with? But it's well and oh, there it is. Well and truly buried it was, but there we are. I might keep coming back to this for composition. Oh, there's the butterfly. We'll have some of those. We've already got fairies. So until next time, this is Kate in the nest, trying to tidy up at the same time as saying thank you so much for joining me today. I'll be back regularly with the Blossom. Bye.